and Tzach. So there's this story, maybe apocryphal, maybe historical, of a Jew being arrested in Poland and being shipped onto the trains, and as he's like shipped onto the trains, he yells at his non-Jewish neighbor, "Hey, please don't forget to feed my chickens." So like lots of commandments in the Torah, not just about how you treat other people, but how you treat animals, commandments against cruelty to animals. So like Jewish self-identity in a sacred text, one of the components that Jews see as essential for being a Jew is to be merciful.
Is that why liberals end up so damn bleeding hurt?
Yeah, because they take this value and take it too far.
Yeah.
So why were Joseph's brothers anxious about what Joseph would do to them when Jacob died? Did they have a guilty conscience? Notice how they sent Joseph a message and said, "Your father, not our father." Did they make up this about Jacob's message to Joseph? What's the answer?
Medrash says yes, they did. They
For the sake of Shalom Bayit.
Exactly. So you knew the answer.
Do you think of God more as the King of Kings or as the Queen of Queens?
I think of you as the Queen of Queens.
And what about God?
He's the King of Kings.
Do Jews have a mission to humanity? If so, what is it?
We count everybody's money for them. But yes, we talked about this before. That we're the light to the world. Torah is the light, right? Torah is the light. We learn in Torah that light illuminates the world, and the non-Jews see it, and they know that there's a God in the world on a spiritual level. We bring God to the world.
Can we do this if we live separately and like don't go to non-kosher restaurants and don't go to clubs?
Absolutely, and it's by virtue of the fact that we don't do those things that we separate ourselves from them. In Hebrew, the word kadosh, kedusha, holiness means kadash is to separate. What makes us holy is that we don't go in the ways of the goyim. Like we talked about that pasuk earlier. Female masturbation is one of the ways of the goyim.
We don't do that. Neither the Rabbs or I have ever done that.
No, I've never done female masturbation. So we don't do these things, or at least we claim not to do them. And when we follow the things that we're not supposed to do, and we don't do them, in other words, right?
Mm-hmm.
We make a profound effect on the world. The goyim look up to us. A goy respects a Jew that does the Torah.
Pimp Daddy says, "I am Haredi from a family of 13. My dad was in Kollel, and I'm in desperate need of attention."
Yeah, I know that's true. I know who he is. That's a true story.
They want to know if neither of us have ever masturbated a woman. Is it a sin if we masturbate her?
What does that mean?
Like we take our hand. Imagine that.
That's not masturbate. That's having
digital. If we digitally manipulate, yeah, that's not female masturbation. That's digital manipulation.
That's sex, baby.
That's sex.
That's a problem of Shomer Nagida.
Yeah, exactly. There is no constellation of the stars that determines human fate. You are free to do good or to do bad. You can't say your environment caused your moral downfall. Why don't Jews embalm? The body is supposed to return to the earth. Judaism is intense about acknowledging death. We don't talk much about the body continuing its journey to the next world.
So let's talk about embalming. There's a halacha that says you're not allowed to embalm, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what? Let's start off. Let's educate people. What does embalming do? Why do the goyim do it? What does it answer? It seriously.
It preserves the body.
Preserves the body for what?
For necrophiliacs to have sex with.
Score one for my nephew. Everything has to come back to sex. No. What are we saying? That.
What's the purpose of embalming?
Embalming is they want to make the body look nice for the viewing, the wake.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And it's gonna be like 5 days later.
Yeah.
And everybody's gonna come and they're gonna look at the person, right?
Yeah.
They'll look at the body.
Yeah.
All of that goes against
Torah.
The Torah because we don't look at a body. It's not a historic monument or a landmark that you go and you take and you go and you take photos of. You know what I mean? We don't put the body on display like that. That's not what Torah wants. And you don't wait 5 days. You bury it within the first 24 hours. So the whole concept of the embalming is for things that go against the Torah. We want to give that person as much sneezkeit, modesty. We treat the person very respectfully, and we put them in a box right away, and we get them buried. We don't embalm them because we don't delay it. We don't show them off. Right? Now, the question is going to be, why is there embalming with Yaakov? That would be a great question. When Torah halacha is we don't embalm, why is Yosef embalming his father?
Yeah.
Do you have an answer?
Because they had to take him to Israel.
And that's a very long
They
schlep.
didn't want him to fall apart and start rotting.
But that's one shot, and that's Rishonim talk about that. Mepharshim talk about that. Take 10 points for knowing that one. That's it. Because they had to go a very long schlep. Back then they didn't have airplanes, so they're going to have to cross the entire desert to get back to Eretz Yisrael. That could take months. I mean, I don't know how long it takes for a journey like that, but that could take that's a long schlep, right? And he might decay and stink up the place, so they embalmed him, right? That's one reason. You know another one?
No.
They actually did do a wake with him.
Oh, okay.
And had him on display for months. And you know why?
Why?
Because they had to prove he was dead. And they wanted everyone in Egypt to have a chance to walk over, and pay the respects and see that the guy was dead. And why was that important?
Don't know.
Because as long as people actually saw that the guy died, no one would turn him into a god. Now this was very important, and it's brought down in the Rishonim, that he feared that he was going to be seen by all these idol worshippers as God, as a god type. And the reason is, he came and he said that, remember, he came and he told Paro, Yaakov came and told Paro that, that your famine thing is going to end, and it ended. And they said, wow, he put food back on our table. Remember, they're all starving to death in Egypt, right? They don't have any food. He came, and boom, there was food. So they already are like, who is this guy? He's like, like the magic man. And you know how quickly Goyim attach themselves to anyone that can do miracles. That's why Jesus is so popular, right? They see him do a few...
Goyim are like that.
They
just love miracle makers.
Right.
Goyim and Hasidim.
Like right now, seriously, right? If you waved your arms and it went from nighttime to daylight over, with your arm...
I could get any woman I wanted.
You, seriously, you would be like a cult leader in the morning.
In Hollywood, they'd kill for me.
That's it. You would be like a god, like Luke Ford, God, and then your parents then you'd go, what do you think of me now? I'm a god, right? And so he didn't want to be confused with a god. He wanted to be seen as a dead human being, and nobody would bow down to him and be the subject of idolatry. So they embalmed him so he could pull that off.
Ellen wants to know what you like on your pizza.
Oh, she is so sweet. Ellen, thank you so much. Here's the problem. I just ate dinner and I'm flaky.
But generally speaking.
What do I like on my tombstone?
On your pizza.
On my pizza, I like vegetable. Oh, pineapple is my favorite. I love pineapple. And I like vegetables, onions, olives, peppers, shrooms. I like all that stuff.
Not chicken dipped in semen?
No.
Okay.
Did somebody write that? He wrote that?
Yeah.
Oh, you see, he's you know what? He hangs out in that crowd now in the chat room, and he went from being like this really holy guy, and look what they've done to him.
Pimp Daddy says there is a mission that says if a person asks certain questions, it's better for him if he wasn't created. So if I ask one of those questions, that I just go commit suicide.
I wouldn't have a problem if he committed suicide. Who is that? Is that
Pimp Daddy.
Pimp Daddy?
Yeah.
No, Pimp Daddy I want to stick around. Don't commit suicide. The sheriff of Torahtown, if he commits suicide, I won't stop him. I like Pimp Daddy.
So, where was Rabbs during the summer of '69? Were those the best years of your life? Playing that old six-string, young and restless,
I didn't understand that question.
Needing to unwind. I guess nothing can last forever. It's a Bryan Adams song.
Why would you bring that up? I couldn't understand why that...
I was just listening to the Bryan Adams song, Summer '69.
Oh, and it just like made its way. What you were like listening to it was like